Vinny and Dan.
Hello.
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 Are you a big fan of Elijah Wood?
I love Elijah Wood.
I just saw him in the credits for Mandy, so if he helped that movie
really?
happen, I am a fan.
Okay, well, he also helped this game happen, although he is not really in it. This is Transference. It is $25. You can play it in VR on the PlayStation Store as well as computer VR systems, and I think it's also available on Steam as well. But a fun thing is you can also play it not in VR.
That's a nice option.
So I have played through this game entirely in VR already. It is a very narrative-driven game. It's sort of like an escape room, I guess, mixed with like a Gone Home type of walking sim.
Okay.
I think it does them okay. I think it's an okay game, I will start by saying.
Okay.
And I will also start by saying, if you want to play this game, I would say maybe don't watch the quick look or don't watch too much of it, because I'm not going to play too far, but it is narrative driven. It is a puzzle game. So you will get spoiled on a puzzle in the start. I'm probably only going to do one just to get us going, but.
Okay, and you are playing non-VR.
I am playing non-VR. I have found that there really aren't many differences in the gameplay, and I figured for a video, it would be kind of nauseating to play it in VR. It does have that classic kind of like turn and the screen goes black kind of thing, which is not the most viewable experience for an audience.
Did you find the overall gameplay experience to be, well, let's start.
Okay.
And you can explain the difference between VR and non-VR, but playing it, this isn't go buy a VR for this game? This isn't
No, certainly not. I would say I kind of enjoy it better without a VR. I found it a little bit nauseating in VR. That could just be me. I haven't looked into whether or not it did for other people, but I'll get into the issues a little bit more later. But let's get this set up.
Thank you so much for all
subtitles?
the valuable experiences we had while working together.
There are, but I'll get them
I've
after.
taken our research and the research of the greats and the ancients, and I have found the key.
Oh, good.
So this is kind of how the acting is through most of the game. A little melodramatic, which I kind of enjoy, a little campy.
I played maybe a half hour of this at E3 a couple years ago, and I remember being pretty standard.
Listen to the story.
The ability to take an entire cognitive system from this world and breathe it into a perfect virtual space. True one-to-one consciousness replication. Vita Eterna. My family and I will be
Wait for applause.
Benny, we're trying to listen.
relocating now. But we look forward to seeing you very soon. I have so much to show you.
Okay, so he was working on stuff to put somebody's mind into a computer.
Basically, yes, into like a VR system. I have found this story to be convoluted and kind of confusing. I think also doing it in VR the first time, you get the story through those little sort of video vignettes of like live video, but it's often like glitchy and there are like 4 other videos playing at the same time. And when you're in VR, it's like overwhelming and it's hard to follow what's going on. You can look at them through the audio logs later. I'm just going to turn on
Subtitles.
Yes.
I seem to remember it being pretty standard, like, oh, you got bad memories and they're infiltrating, like, oh, are you crazy? Is this really happening? Or like just a lot of the stuff you've seen in a billion psychological horror games or whatever.
Yeah, I guess so. The narrative wasn't the most clear thing, and there were some metaphors that were very on the nose,
Right.
I found. Overall, I found it like kind of a fun, campy experience, but I also finished it in maybe an hour and a half, and I was taking my time. A big complaint I have too is, well, in the VR version, when you pick something up, it kind of feels like it's in your armpit, and it's really hard to look. And it took me a long time to realize that you can do this. But a lot of the kind of flavor stuff you pick up in here is stuff like this, where it's like a music store flyer, which is sort of loosely related to some characters in the story. Yep, it just floats there and then goes back.
Oh, okay.
But not really. Like, okay, we get we're in Boston, and that's kind of it. But I find that the kind of pickups are not as in-depth as I would like to. I don't learn that much about the story through them. And if I do, like this is just a pizza flyer, which I feel like really has nothing to do with anything.
They have pizza in Boston?
I love pizza, and you can get one free. What's wrong with that?
You guys raised some good points.
Thing.
I didn't think about that. But like if this is what this game is me discovering the story through these pickups, I want to learn more through them. And sometimes they'll have like one line that you're reading from a letter, but that's it. You don't read like the whole letter ever.
Was that an accurate Boston area code as someone who used to live there, 617?
Yes, it is.
Okay, 555, not so much.
No. Not that I've seen. Whoa, spooky. I'm on the other side now. That's not how that works. Anyway.
Didn't you walk around the corner?
Yes, but I came to this corner.
Oh, I see. You shortcutted around the corner. Okay.
This game does have some jump scares. In VR, I found them scary because I'm a big wimp, but I think for most people, they probably wouldn't be that scary.
Okay.
So we are trying to get in. We can't get in.
That's computer
We have
talk.
to find the key. So sometimes you get these kind of like little whispers of like characters talking to you.
Where is everybody?
And I have wanted them to be like, I feel like there are parts of this game that I still don't have answers to. Mm-hmm. And I would like them, and I wish some of these like whispery things explained it better.
Laika, that's the Russian dog from space.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Space dog.
Is missing. Space dog's missing.
get that backpack. Spider-Man left it there.
I can't, but I can't get the key.
Oh.
So now there's a lost person and a lost dog. Mm-hmm. Is there a mechanic reason for stuff going into your armpit first
I
and
think
then
it's supposed to feel like it's in your hand, but really it took me a long time to realize that like I can bring it up in front of my face and actually look at it. Whereas before in VR I would be like craning my head to try to see this like blurry thing in my armpit.
How is the texture resolution for most of those flyers? Because it didn't look super high in this.
It looks okay.
You can see it fine in VR.
You know, it feels like the VR kind of dollhouse like usual.
Okay.
Like I said, I did find it a little bit nauseating, but that could just be a me thing versus like the game. I'm not sure if other people were experiencing similar
You don't
things.
generally get nauseous in VR, right?
Sometimes I'll get a little queasy, but it's not. I feel like not really.
Okay.
And I would feel like I was feeling like not great this time. There is a staircase later that's just like this winding staircase that I found like it made me dizzy, and I'm sure that would be better if you weren't playing it in VR. Another thing that I'm just going to point out really quick, that you see how I have the little dot that says where I'm pointing? That dot does not exist in the VR mode, so it's very difficult to pick stuff up sometimes.
Do you not see your hands in VR?
No.
Okay.
At least not on the PlayStation VR.
Not on the PlayStation VR,
Right, 'cause
because
there's the
I
Vive
just
one.
have the regular controller. So I have this study sheet. Here's our first puzzle. And then, look.
Oh.
Let's
You have to
find
know
the
how to
keys. Oh, we can
read
also
music?
pick this stuff up, too.
It's
well,
right,
it's
it's
teaching
right
you how to
there.
read
Yeah.
80%.
Oopsies.
Yeah, that's a lot of percent off.
Can I get that on my pizza?
Somebody just left this on the
That's
ground?
like, this stuff, what is this telling me about
It's-
anything in the game? Like, why is
Oysters?
this here?
Is it the blue oyster?
So, let's see. I believe it's CDE. Yeah, CDE.
I don't know how to read music.
It's right there on the paper.
Yep, see, this is like these three things.
How do you know that's CDE?
Because you can look there. You see the C is at the same spot in the music notation.
Okay.
So pink, pink, pink.
I'm glad they pitched their door buzzers.
Play Mary Had a Little Lamb on the door buzzers.
All right, so we did it. We have a medicine delivery.
Just steal people's mail. That's what this
Yep.
game is. It's just stealing flyers and people's mail.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
I'll take this too. It's free.
City
Getting
movers,
coupons?
Yeah, look at this.
for rent.
I could listen. I might be moving.
Raymond Hayes is Catherine Hayes.
Catherine.
Who might that be?
I like how when you put stuff back, it disappears too. So it's just
Yes.
yours.
So
Actually,
that
that's
is-
stuck around.
Another sometimes little complaint that I have where I would pick up objects being like, I'm going to use this later on and literally carry them around. And I would be like, okay, I have this. And like, well, I want to look at this thing, this paper on the floor.
And then it would
I would look
disappear.
at it. And then I would be like, I'm going to pick this back up again. And this sort of like juggling these items just for it to not be a thing I needed to carry around. I could get to it later.
Did you ever find a scenario where you had to carry something around a long time?
No.
Okay.
But I expected there to be because
Yeah,
that's
you
sort of
didn't
how
know.
I'm used
Yeah,
to playing
okay,
games,
yeah.
right?
Is there any kind of permanent inventory?
No. In VR, I found this quite scary, but this
Link?
is really as scary as it gets. You have these sort of slight jump scares. Nothing ever really kills you. I've had one situation where it killed me the second time I played through, and that was only because I went to the wrong area kind of on purpose. So let's go through. So this is a lot of this game is the lights on and off. And that sort of will change the world for you. And it becomes a little more in depth as far as like the puzzle stuff later. But for right now, it's just sort of like, here is what this mechanic is.
Who are you? Someone's gotta save us.
Something's wrong with the lights.
First indication, lights are part of the game.
And they underlined lights, so it's got to be important.
some of the same stuff
Somebody really wants some business.
Do you guys want to go upstairs or downstairs? These are the nauseating stairs.
Upstairs.
Are you sure?
I want to vomit.
Wires don't seem safe.
You gotta get your internet upstairs any way you can, okay?
Yeah, this is true.
Now, who are you to judge?
I'm not. Sorry.
We're gonna drill holes in this floor? No.
I will say this wasn't the nauseating part. It was a situation where it was like I was literally just going downstairs, and the whole point was that it was like repetitive and crazy, but it was also like I need to stop spinning around in a circle in VR.
I once strung a Ethernet cable out a third floor window of an apartment into another window. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because how are you gonna get it through the rooms?
A drill.
Exactly. Not in an apartment.
Oh, yeah. They get mad at you.
Out the window, tucking around from the apartment above on a little string and then bring it across. I need my internet.
So this is kind of a lot of what this game is like, oh, I have this missing file, which is sort of part of the kind of consciousness put into the VR system that doesn't seem to have been uploaded properly. So I have to go find it sort of scrambled within here.
I wonder why Happy Birthday gets capped. Because is it a Happy Birthday? Are we giving them the happy birthday?
You're really asking the important questions.
I really am. I'm glad subtitles are on to really add the depth that you were missing clearly from this game.
It feels like they're going for like a Black Mirror thing here. Like technology, like there's a VR episode.
Yeah, kind of. I will say Black Mirror probably does it better. I think I'm supposed to go down, but I'm looping here a little bit. Okay.
So what is the movement in VR? Is it do you use the left stick to move, and then you said you had that like 30-degree turn or something?
Right, so it's like every time I turn, it's like black screen, black screen, black screen, which is like sort of what we saw when we did Resident Evil 7. I don't think that's unusual for PlayStation VR. I think it's probably better off, but I don't think it probably makes for a good video to watch if you're not in the VR system.
Did you see any options to turn that off, like smooth turning or?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm
might not
not
be
going to
in
see
here
it in here.
Yeah. I assume most
I have VR settings, so I do have like blinder. Well, I can't choose anything, but like blinders while turning, blinders while moving, strength, rotation.
And you can turn
mode.
the snap off. Okay.
Yeah, you can turn it all off, which I like I said, I was already a little nauseated playing this.
Sure.
But good to know. And also, I will say, pretty easy to go back and forth between them, which is very nice.
Yeah.
I assume the general button mapping, like the face buttons and everything, is the same VR or non?
I probably don't. Yes, it is the same VR non. As far as like if it's standard across most VR games, I don't play enough to really speak to that.
I just mean
I will
within
say,
this game.
I didn't find it super intuitive. I had to go into the menu system and look at the mapping before I discovered that like I could hold things up in front of my face and actually look at them more closely, or like I could hit square and recenter the screen. But
Hey, knock knock.
I feel like the recenter thing should be like a universal button.
and there actually is. It's usually the options button if you hold it
Right.
down, but for whatever reason, this game went with its own.
That's
thing.
fun.
It should be tap 3 times on that big square button.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, you make your own room. Bring this
I'll put
knocker.
it anywhere.
Yeah.
What was that movie where you write chalk and then it makes like a door? Do you know what I'm talking
Every
about?
Harold and the Purple Crayon.
Yeah, sure.
There was something else. What am I thinking
There's a kid who had the knife who could cut open things.
I remember it was chalk specifically, and they like made a
Chalk.
door, and then it like. Oh, I think I'm thinking of Pan's Labyrinth.
Sure.
Oh, I never
There are a
saw
lot of movies
Oh,
I
it's
feel
so
like that do.
good.
Beetlejuice.
I think, yes.
Lydia Dietz makes the door. Remember with the chalk.
Okay. A long time.
Golden Compass. The kid has a knife that can slice through the world.
This checks out.
Harold and the Purple Crayon for sure. That crayon is out of control.
Yeah.
All right. So you spend most of your time in their apartment.
Oh.
Creepy kid.
Oh wait.
Bye.
Didn't that kid get eaten by a demon?
This picture is everywhere.
Okay.
Why they would hang that in a child's room, which they do at one point, is beyond me. But this is sort of what it is, the flavor you get in these things. Like I said, I wish I learned more about the characters through them. I feel like I still have things that I'm confused by and I don't fully understand.
What kind of writing on the wall do we have here?
A lot of repetitive stuff. I will say there is some writing on the wall that solves a puzzle directly next to the puzzle, which I realized my second playthrough.
Okay.
Which, weird choice if you ask me. I mean, the puzzle wasn't particularly hard to figure out anyway, but so a lot of stuff like this I will pick up and it has no use. I feel like I learned very little from it. It's a tuning fork. I picked this up originally being like, oh, I bet I'll have to use this in a puzzle. I have to tune something. I have to like bang it on something. Nope, it does nothing.
It really seems like a thing you would use in a game like this.
Yeah, and because this is such a narrative game and because it is kind of an escape room sort of walking simulator game, I wish there was more flavor in the pickups.
It kind of feels like there are too few pickups for them to feel like a Gone Home look at everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Because Gone Home had like detail. You could like read things and stuff.
Well,
this
Gone-
seems very
right.
surface
And Gone
level.
Home had like 800 things per room where you're
Yeah.
like, clearly I'm not going to
Right.
bring this coffee mug with me.
Yes.
Yes, and this has so few, and so few of them actually seem to have much narrative to it. So like this kind of does of like concert ticket for one adult and one child. Like this is a 3-person family. One adult's not going.
Oh.
Like what does that say? Although I think one adult is in the concert, so that's probably why. Sometimes you open these drawers.
Oh, the parents working.
Yeah. Sometimes you open these drawers. This doesn't say much except that he has a library card.
Is that how a Boston library card? Boston?
I don't think
Okay.
so. It's
Why
just
would they do
weird.
that?
Weird formatting.
Okay.
Spooky.
So I'm not going to get too much further into the game at this point.
Check out the chalkboard.
I think.
You don't want to give
It's a
too
cute
much
pic-
away here.
Cute doggy.
Now
Aw.
that is
Like,
terrifying. Look at now that is a clown, a child appropriate clown wallpaper.
Yes, that is a Bozo
It's
the
still
Clown.
kind of scary.
It's still frightening when the lights go off and like the moon would hit that and you'd see
Yeah.
him, like him crying would be very scary.
right.
But not. It's a lot better than the horrible clown picture. What's on the piano
I
over
agree.
there behind you?
Here,
Yeah. Oh, they're out. Oh, they're
for, like,
lights.
lights.
I see. Yeah, those hanging
That
lights.
seems unsafe.
maybe it'll
Yeah.
be for a puzzle later. I
Maybe.
don't know. So I will say I enjoyed playing it in the sense that I like adventure-y walking simulator puzzle games. But I will also say I wanted more from the story, especially in VR. Everything was sort of too overwhelming for me to actually sit and listen to the kind of video feeds. I tried to, but it was like there were 4 videos popping up at once. Even when you watch them, they're not super clear. I'll show you some of them because you get them in the menu system after. So I'll quit out and show
But you said
that.
in VR you're getting ambient noise and static all
Yes,
around you.
and I'm not going to show it because it's like I would have to spoil so many puzzles to get to one. But it would be like the main one's playing, and then you have like a bunch of other videos popping up, and they're like all speaking sort of in the round, and it's like
and not doing the intended effect of making it creepy and whatever, just making it annoying.
it's like has some atmosphere to it for sure, but it's also like, but I want the story here.
Yeah.
You know, I can only piece together so much with like concert tickets.
So it's $20,
$25.
$25.
Yes.
And not. You said you made it through your first playthrough
Entirely in VR.
and not a lot of room for replay unless you really want to try
No,
and pick
you
up
can
little
get
clues.
there. You know, there are some collectibles. There are audio logs. There are video logs. They aren't that fun to get. Like
But
it's not like there's like a huge like, oh, if I did that puzzle better, I would have found a video log.
What
or
about an hour and a half?
Yeah, that's probably being generous. I really took my time with it.
Okay.
But let's watch some of these. I do think they're kind of fun and campy in a way I enjoy.
Hello, Ben.
Hey.
But-
I'm addressing these work logs to you because it is my hope
Kevin Smith.
that you will
No, that doesn't
someday
look like
continue
Kevin
this
Smith.
work if I am
Kinda.
unable. And also because all of this, everything I do here is for you. For you and your mother.
I think forced glitches are not an effective.
I feel
No.
like I
Editing
watch those
technique?
and I
No.
just see like, oh, they're just hiding cuts.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just
it's like a
edits.
YouTube video.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Getting the subject to remain still enough to take a proper snapshot, except for the subject is the brain.
I love the acting
There
though.
is some way
Oh boy.
Some of the puzzles I will say were more fun than others. Like the puzzle solving is
Praise
kind of
the
fun.
brain.
But it just feels like
Kind of controlled clinical
I just wish
death.
there was more from the story.
I feel like he's about to unbox some Funko Pops.
I feel like
could
he's like a
modify the
melodramatic
freezer,
Jack
I-
Black.
He's doing like a YouTube apology video.
I just.
Work.
The acting here. I don't want to criticize. Acting's hard.
Right.
But like the thing is like the acting like you're coming to the epiphany. Yeah.
And that's like
But not
what
even
all
that,
of
just
these
like,
are.
If there were just some way to freeze.
Oh, this one I love. Look
brain.
at the way he reads. He has to mouth the words. I love it.
Practical applications. Practical applications. How about solving overpopulation? How about rehabilitation?
Is he losing his grant?
Yes.
Okay.
Which you sort of find in the papers.
Listen, I got it. I picked it up.
The very definition
Show me
of
losing
that.
the grant money. Okay, got it.
Whose woods these are?
Elijah's.
I think I know. You will not see me stopping here. Watch these woods
Got a
fill up
paper-
with snow.
Got a paper shredder. You're gonna have to clean that up.
Ready for another epiphany?
Snow.
Spell
Acting
Catch
like
cold.
you're figuring something out is hard. It's when you know the script. It's a tough sell.
Catch cold. We'll give the aliens a cold.
Crystals. I wish in my life that ever happened to me. Like I was just
A eureka moment?
I was just talking to somebody and just being like, 3:30. 3:30 is when we could do that thing. Like,
That's the passcode.
That's the scheduling. That we broke the scheduling code.
I'll just show one more, especially considering like y'all have watched 2 of these story things.
Yeah.
I
Don't give too much away. I get
They
it.
honestly don't spoil that much. It's like him talking at his wife.
This stuff from birth.
Why is he
You know it.
filming? What is he? I'm assuming he's wearing a headset and laying down next to her, like a GoPro on his head.
That's what gives you such talent. You feel the universe.
Like we don't have to watch the whole thing, but a lot of them are like that.
Okay.
And they're like almost fun. Like I said,
She did not
in
look like
VR,
she was having it though. That didn't look too much fun.
Right. In VR, they weren't easy to follow. And I wish that they were, because I would be more curious about the storyline. There were many parts where like the metaphor was pretty on the nose as far as like you sort of go into each person's different consciousness, and that's sort of how the house looks different for the child versus the mother versus the scientist. And
no Elijah Wood.
The
biggest crime of all.
I know. So, I enjoyed this game sort of mildly. I like puzzle games. I like walking simulators. I like adventure games.
Yeah.
This is kind of that. But I wish it went deeper in a lot of ways. And I wish I was expecting something closer to like maybe a 4-hour experience, sort of like Observer. But it's certainly not that.
Okay. And $25.
$25. You can play it in VR, PSVR, and on Steam VR stuff as well. I'm sure other computer gaming platforms have it.
Yeah, I think Oculus has on the Oculus Store.
Yeah, that checks out.
And like VR stuff, I don't know. A lot of that stuff varies from platform to platform because of controllers, so your mileage may vary other places.
So it might be less nauseating in like an Oculus type
Doing
of thing.
a quick look here in the Steam store, it seems like people aren't digging the VR
really?
here either.
That's
a lot of red thumbs.
A lot of red thumbs mostly saying the VR here, maybe not so good. Maybe different
Was
than
it
the
also
Oculus.
nauseating for them?
I'm not seeing that. I'm just
Okay,
quickly looking down being like, it's not working
a lot
great.
of like bad.
You listen, it's like, people are saying maybe the VR part at least not working.
Yeah,
so great.
I mean, I will say it worked for me. As confusing and in the armpit all the objects were, it did work. Despite being a little bit nauseating, it was like working fine.
I don't know. Mr. Poopy Butthole up there liked it.
Okay,
So it might be. Some people like it.
Thanks, Abby.
Thank you.
Transference. Not transference.
No, that's different.
No, way different.
Transference.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Kojima! All right, thanks, Abby.